Mr. Murrah,
Yeah.
it was really a pleasure meeting you. I got you a little present.
Oh, my goodness. Can I open it?
That's the point.
Oh my goodness. How in the world did you do that? That soon, look at that.
Look at that.
What a handsome man. I noticed that, you didn't have a picture of you in the service in the house, and everyone ought to have a picture of that.
Yeah, I got this now. Boy, we'll frame this and put it over there in the rose gallery.
And do me a favor. I wrote a little message on the back.
Oh, okay.
Will you read that? Because I mean it.
Thank you for the time and service. Let me try this again. My eyes play tricks on me. Thank you for your service and sacrifices. You have helped me.
I know you have a tough time saying. I'll read it out to you, okay?
Yeah, will you do that?
I tried to make it as large as possible.
Yeah, I know it.
My penmanship's not too great anyways, but
it's good.
Dear Mr. Murrah, thank you for your service and sacrifices. You have helped give life to more people than you will ever know. God bless you. There's a lot more I could have written, but I ran out of room.
Thank you. That's a great message. Something that flashes through your mind. It shouldn't, but it does. It says you've given you've given life to more people than you know. You left out one small segment of my life. At that time, I was not giving more life to people that I knew. I was giving less life to people I didn't know.
You mean when you were firing at the Germans?
Yeah, right.
I hear what you're saying, but I think about it a little differently, because you have to consider, you were sent there. You went overseas and you fought that war. You were fighting, the enemy. And every time you fired at the enemy, whether or not you hit them, that kept them at bay.
Kept him from firing at me.
Not just you.
But all my other friends, you're right.
Exactly. And you know what, Mr. Murrah? Every American and every other Allied soldier that came home, they got to raise families.
Oh, yeah.
And so, you going overseas and doing your job, that helped make it so other men could come home and, you didn't
have a family
and have kids
right.
and grandkids and great-grandkids.
Well, I hadn't thought about it like that, but I guess you're right.
And so that's what I mean. I mean, if you had been killed in the war, your 4 kids would not have been born, right?
That's right.
Your grandkids.
14 great-grandkids would not be here. My daughters mention that quite often. They said, well, Daddy, just think about what would have happened if you hadn't come home. We wouldn't, none of us would have been here.
Exactly. And I remember you telling me in the interview, even though you were scared, you never ran away.
No, I never ran away.
And so because you stayed on the front and you did your job until you had to be evacuated, you helped give more life to people than you helped give life to more people than you'll know.
Well, I hope so.
And that's what I was trying to get across, because 75 years later, a kid like me, I get to grow up in a peaceful country, and that's because of people like you.
It's hard to imagine a country like, well, even before I went in service and after, things were not easy for people back home even then, though. You had rationing, you had the draft, you had men leaving every day going into service, and I never heard one. And at this time, I was had graduated from high school and were working at a drugstore. And a lot of young men, of course, came in the drugstore. I never heard one complain because I've got a low draft number, or they'd laugh about it and say, look what I got. I'm fixing to go in the service. I'm going in the Army. But then nobody ever complained. I never heard a soul. There were a few draft dodgers. In fact, I worked with one, and I was in college with one. But the veterans never really felt the same toward these people as we did the ones that went with us.
Oh, absolutely. You guys were, brothers who went
Yeah.
overseas.
But you look at this picture, it's hard to imagine a kid like that putting on a steel helmet and an olive drab uniform and slinging a rifle over his shoulder and then pulling that rifle down and shooting somebody. I just don't look like I could do that because I look like I'm younger than I am. And I was 21 when this was taken. And who would have believed it?
You never know what you can be capable of until you're put to the test, right?
Yeah. Well, this movie, Band of Brothers, I'm sure you've seen it. It was probably more realistic than most any infantry movie I've ever seen. There were some things about it that I didn't quite agree with. One was there were loud noises. These men would all get in a group and they'd all be shouting at each other and yelling. Well, we never did that. We respected social differences. We stayed apart. Another thing that I noticed about them, they were always clean shaven. You never saw a mustache or a beard. They all looked like they'd shaved that morning. Well, we didn't look like we'd shaved that morning, or the morning before, or the week before. Nor did we look like we'd washed our face, because we hadn't. But the acting was excellent in those movies. But it is sad that somebody like me has got to criticize them. But
No,
I wasn't criticizing, I was just commenting.
it's good that people know, because at the end of the day, it's a TV show. It's not the real thing.
It's not the real thing, that's right.
And I'm sure a lot of the veterans I've met, they'll talk about movies or TV shows, and they say, no matter how accurate it is, it always misses out on the smell.
Oh, well, that's for sure. That's for sure. And that's something that I guess I had is kind of like shooting a rifle at an enemy. You don't try to remember that sort of thing. You don't try to remember the smell. I do remember it, especially after the snow. So we were, in a way, we were better off certainly than the people that were in the jungles, because where we were, it could snow, a heavy snow, and there'd be no decomposition for a few days. And so we didn't have that same smell that they had in the hot weather.
Absolutely. But I just wanted to give that to you just as a little.
I do appreciate that.
That's the least I could do. And I hope we'll stay in touch, sir, and I'm sure we will.
Well, thank you, Rich. I appreciate this so much. I had no idea. I don't know how you did it this fast, but you did. Nor where the source of it was, but you found it.
Yeah, well, I'll let that be a little secret, and you'll always wonder. Now, your daughter sent me the picture remember, because I was gonna take a photo of you holding it up,
Yeah.
and then I just went to a local place to get it printed.
Boy.
But they put it on a nice cardboard or whatever,
Yeah, they did a great job with it.
and so you can put that up on your mantle, and everyone who walks in the house, they know they're walking into the home of a hero.
No. Well, they walked into the home of a lucky guy that got home and raised a family and enjoyed life.
And still does.
Still do. I still do that. Not as much. I'm shaky these days, but I'm still here.